Hello, hello, hello. Let's get into this soft glam that I did on one of my clients within 30 minutes. Everything that I use will be linked in the show notes in the description below, and it will be featured on screen. So girl, get you what you need to get. I'm starting off by concealing under the brows using the Too Faced concealer in the shade Chestnut, and I'm taking that all the way down onto the lid because I will also be using this concealer as a primer for her eyeshadow. I want to give out a little disclaimer because I know there are some makeup artists that are watching, and this may be your very first time really getting into makeup. Girl, this is years and years of experience, so some of the things that I do are not things that most beginner makeup artists do, but just trust the process. So for example, I like to conceal under the brows before I even start filling them in. The reason being is because I realize that we tend to overfill our brows by making that the first thing. So what I like to do is I like to conceal under the brows first, really get that concealer as a primer on the lid for our eyeshadow, and then I'll buff it out with a nice fluffy brush using small circular dabbing motions to really blend out that concealer on the lid. Then I like to go in and prime the skin. I sometimes do this before I do the concealer, but for this client per se, I actually forgot to go in first, but I did start her skin prep before I went in with my concealer on the lids. But today I'm just going to be using the CeraVe moisturizer for her primer. I honestly love how this moisturizer performs under makeup. My client had rather dry skin, so her skin absolutely loved the moisture that this primer, I'm calling it a primer, but this moisturizer provided. It feels nice. It has like a smoothing technology in it, and it doesn't feel sticky to the point where it makes you feel greasy, but it feels like sticky, quote unquote, enough to grip makeup. And you'll see when I get to the foundation stage how it performs. I like to skin prep first before I go in with my base, only because I want my products to settle in. So going back to the brows, like I was telling you guys earlier, I like to conceal first and then go with my eyebrow pencil and lightly fill in the brow. Nothing crazy. I'm not outlining. I'm just literally just adding more depth to the eyebrow. I'm using an e.l.f. eyebrow pencil because it's one of the things that I have in my kit, and I'm in the motion of let me use it out till I don't have it anymore, and if I want to go back and buy it, I will. I have a lot of makeup, you guys. You're talking a lot, okay? I have been a makeup artist for over 10 years, and I'm also an educator now, so I have tons of stuff that I've tried over the years, things I've bought that I'm like, oh, I like it. So literally let this be an example that you don't need like really expensive products to get a nice flawless finish. You just need things that work together and work well together. I'm going in with my eyeshadow, and she wanted a really soft smoky eye, so I'm literally using colors similar to the face. So her contour color, that's what I'm using to smoke her out, and then a lighter brown for the lid to just kind of give it the softness throughout the lid. And then later on you'll see how I use a lighter pigment to kind of bring more brightness and light to the face. But all I'm doing is dabbing in, grabbing these eyeshadows, and I'm pressing it into her eyelid. I am not swiping, I am dabbing. I'm always dabbing. I tell people in my makeup class all the time, girl, we are never dragging, okay? When you do your makeup, it's always small repetitive steps. Like literally that dab, look at my hand, it's literally dabbing. That is the most your hand is gonna do. You will always be dabbing. The only time you'll ever see a little swirly swirl is like priming, face prep. Other than that, you will always see a dab. I'm going in with the Kryolan Camo palette. I love this palette, you guys. I am somebody that's of the thought of less is more, and I actually made the switch to this palette a few weeks ago. Depending on when you're watching this, it could be months ago. I actually decided to invest in this palette because I've always heard great stuff, and I'm of the thought of less is more. I don't want to have a really large kit, to be honest with you. I just need products that work, that last long, and that perform really well. And I really love that this palette gives me that. It gives me a ton of colors that I can mix together to get the to get the shade that I need. What I'm doing is taking a dense foundation brush and I am literally dabbing and stippling this product all over. I warmed up the product on my palette and I literally just did her whole face. I like used it as a foundation. I did her whole face and now I'm going back in and I am beginning to highlight those areas. Literally soft buffing, nothing crazy. I want it to have a nice natural and flawless finish as well as a nice transition. I don't want anything too harsh or too bright because she wants it to be very soft, very natural. And for clients that don't tend to really wear makeup, I mean, this is perfect. And even for the girlies that really like a brighter under eye or like a more bolder look, you could still play on colors like that. I know for this client, she really likes it nice and soft, and so that's what I did for her. And then I went on top with the Too Faced concealer just to add a little more brightness. Now I could have went back in with the cream concealer, the Camo palette. I could have went back in with my Camo palette, but because I had this product already on my palette, my little mixing palette, I didn't want the product to go to waste, so I used it to also highlight her a little bit more to add more dimension into her face. And again, taking the same brush that I used earlier to, you know, give her that coverage earlier, and I'm just dabbing. I didn't wet my sponge. I didn't do any of those kind of things. I literally am just dabbing that product into place. And as you can see, like, all I went in with, well, most recent is the CeraVe moisturizing cream, and you can see how that just locks it in, how it just keeps it put. Literally, it's not creasing, it's not doing anything weird, it's literally holding it down. And like, look at her face and how smooth it looks. After that, I take my Real Techniques brush and I dab it into some of the Laura Mercier's translucent powder in Honey, and I just stipple this all over those areas that I highlighted, really giving her a nice even coverage with the powder. I don't want it to look cakey, so as you can see, I'm going back and forth, dabbing. When I did that first eye, I went on a bit heavy, but that's nothing that scares me. I just know constant repetition motion will have that powder melt right into the skin, and I don't mind taking that powder along the face in areas that I didn't highlight because it's translucent. It's just going to set the face, and this helps with keeping it transfer proof. I've always seen such wonderful results with Laura Mercier powders. It's one of my beginning powders that I've ever used as a makeup artist, and I love her. Like, she's always going to live in my kit, no lie, because I've always had a good experience with her. Even if I have to mix the Laura Mercier translucent honey with the deep one, it always gives me the finish that I'm looking for. I don't have to worry about it creasing or anything like that. And so that's all I'm doing. I'm literally taking whatever excess is on my brush, I'm dabbing it all over her face in those areas that I highlighted, and even the areas that I didn't really highlight, but has product that I want to keep set in her face. Real quick PSA, if you're a makeup artist looking to monetize and make more money, check the description below for some of the courses I've curated just for you, so that way you can start making more money and enjoying more time. Okay, back to the glam. After that, I'm going in with my Juvia's Place bronzer duo in the shade Dark, and I am stippling. Again, you see that dabbing motion. I'm literally dabbing that into the high points of her cheek, so that way she has a nice warm lifted appearance. And I'm also taking some of that Access product and stippling it across her forehead. And now this is where you start to see the face even come more alive with the different shades and the dimension. I also flick it on her nose, so that way I can start that nose contour that I'm so excited to do on her. I love nose contouring. It's just something I just really enjoy about doing makeup. I love all of it, honestly. I love highlighting. I love all the things. I'm really grateful that God has given me this opportunity to just make his daughters look and feel even more beautiful, and it gives me something to do creatively. But yeah, so I'm just taking that bronzer, I'm stippling it all over her face, giving her little flicks. I know you saw some little swipes, but girl, literally the lightest swipes ever. And then I'm going in with this angled brush, and I am just slowly building out her nose contour, keeping it very light. I don't want to bring too much attention to her nose, but I do want it to be able to be one with the face. I don't want it to just be lost in the sauce. She will be wearing her glasses with this look, so I want to make sure that I give her nose the proper respect as I would anyone else if they were not wearing glasses. And I also want to make sure I set her nose really well, so that way when she wears her glasses, she's not running into any of that makeup pickup or smudging of any sort on her nose bridge. I want it to be seamless, so that way if she does have to take off her glasses, there's no like sweat marks or like moving makeup. After that, I'm going to go in with my palette, and I'm going to pick up that lighter shade that I was telling you guys about earlier. And it's honestly lighter than that lighter shade I was telling you guys earlier. And honestly, it's just a beige color that I'm just laying right on top of her lid to add more brightness to her eye. And you can see the difference, you can see the difference as soon as I apply it to her eyes. It just adds more brightness. It just adds more dimension, because when you look at somebody's face, you want it to look like it has the beautiful layers of color. Like, you don't want it to look flat. Girl, don't you ever walk out the house with just foundation. Please, please, please add some contour, add some blush, add something. Girl, do not leave the house with just foundation. If there's anything that you can take from this video, or even if you're a makeup artist and someone's like, can I just get foundation? No, honey, you're gonna have to get a little bit more than foundation, because girl, we don't do that here. All right, now that I got that off my chest, let's talk lashes. So because she's wearing her glasses, like I said earlier, I'm giving her a nice soft lash that has more of a flare on the outer corner, so that way it's not bulky when she wears her glasses, and that way she could still blink and not worry about her glasses rubbing against her lens. I love this lash. It's literally going to be linked below. It's like one of my favorites for brides or somebody who's not really used to wearing lashes. It's light enough to not feel like it's super heavy, and then it's like, it plays so nicely if you wear glasses. Like, even if you wear sunglasses, it plays so nicely, and it looks so soft, so natural, so beautiful. It honestly looks like you're wearing extensions, not a classic set, not a volume set, just like a light wispy set. I absolutely love it, and I 10 out of 10 recommend these lashes, especially if you're someone who loves to add it to different looks, even if it's like for your own looks, girl. After that, I'm going in with the Juvia's Place blush duo, the one with the orange, and I'm going in with that orange shade, not the peachy light orange. I'm going in with that orange, girl, just to warm up her face even more. And you can see how that just adds more color to her face, and I love it. I keep it on the high points of her cheek. I mean, it's giving so soft, so glammy. And I'm just like obsessed. Look at that side profile. My goodness, it's so beautiful. Her face, literally, like when I tell you, I was talking to her about her skin the whole time. I was like, girl, your skin is so beautiful. And she was telling me about some of her skin journeys and how she had hives and all these things. But girl, you would have never knew. Literally, you would have never knew. And then I'm going back in. Now I'm going back in with the e.l.f. pencil just to kind of redefine the brows even more, because I don't want them to get lost with the powders that I just applied to her face. So I'm just going in, again, really lightly, just brushing into those brow hairs with my pencil, not doing too much. I'm just adding the softest touch, adding more towards the inner, and then bringing that color all the way out throughout the tail of her brow, slowly building. Girls, please do not feel like you have to make, like for real, like please do not feel like you have to make the brows bold in the beginning. No, you could build your brow as you go. There's no wrong way in doing makeup. Your techniques will change throughout the years. I promise you. Just go at a flow that works for you, and you will find your rhythm. I'm going to now line her lips with the NYX lip liner in a dark brown. I can't remember the color, but it's just a dark brown, and I am not going to overline her lips too much. Just a slight bit, just so she could have more of that little pucker, because you already know how we get down on my side of town. We like a little pucker. No injections, baby, just a little pucker, and it just makes me so excited. I think this is when she gave me the go ahead to go even higher, but not too crazy, because you know, for me, I don't do too much, baby. Just a little bit goes a long way. So we just overline just very slightly, and then just really focus on tracing out that lip line at the bottom. She has one of those lips that have like the double line, so honestly I had to be very careful on making sure however I line her lip to not go too far down, because I didn't want the mouth to look like it's starting to sag or get soggy, or look like the lipstick and the gloss was just like dripping down, you know. I'm going in with a nice bright peachy nude creamy gloss to really brighten up the lips, and the way it's gonna melt together with the liner, girl, I'm telling you, it's so delicious. I swear to you, this is like one of my signature combos to do on my brown chocolate girls because it eats every time. I don't like when my nude lips look too dry or ashy. I like when it has some warmth to it, so this peachy color eats down, girl. And then when I top it with the gloss, it just melts so beautifully together, and I mean, it wears so well. Like, she doesn't have to touch up her lips unless she feels dry, because the way this lip like wears, it just gets it. And so I top it with a nice clear gloss that has a little bit of glitter pigments because it adds to that reflecting, like that light reflecting, making it looking voluptuous, make the lips look kissable and soft and fluffy. And I love that. I mean, the girls love it too because it gives a nice little pout, like when the gloss just melts everything together. Oh my gosh. And she's a girly with a gap, so I just love that for her because it's like, ooh, like, I don't know, I think it's so cute and so pretty. And then lastly, the highlight, I'm just going in with a little pink and a little gold just to add to the blush and the dimension of the face. And you guys can see her right now. She's looking real good. I was asking her to blink a little bit to see how she feels. Whenever I ask my clients to blink with their lashes, it's because I want them to get used to it. And then what I like to do is I like to go in with a spoolie with no product and just wiggle that into their lash line a little bit, just so the lashes could kind of settle into their natural lash line. And I swear to you, this hack right here always does it. The girls always feel so much better after I apply lashes and I put that little shimmy with the mascara wand with their eyelashes. And then I'm going in and I'm lining her. Honestly, if I had to recommend anything to anybody who's doing makeup, line her first. Do not, well, until you know what you're like really doing, always line first before you start the face base, because if they get watery, you don't want that to just possibly run on your work, you know. For me, I've been doing this a while, so I know how to direct the girlies to look and how to like really read their body language and read their eyes when they're starting to feel uncomfortable, so that way they don't tear up, or if they do, I can catch it before that. But yeah, girl, you will get the techniques as you go. Trust your process and just do the makeup, get the models, do the clients, be teachable, okay? I love y'all. Till I see you guys again, don't you ever let anyone dim your light. Like this video if you want more videos like this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.